Hello guys, and this is a video that's hopefully not going to be too long that will showcase the new RFA model that I have put together, or it's not completely done yet, but it is the fundamentals should be there. So I'll show you some highlights, not highlights, but the main things that are going to be changed between the current that we can dub 2.0 and the new the 3.0 model. So basically, what's the same? What is kept is that we are looking at the points per game and grid per game as main performance metrics. Also, what we this still keeps the same tiers or the same logic behind the tiers in terms of milestones or thresholds. So this is the same. Also, the same is that every additional year costs after the current inflation updates 0.75 million. So we'll be looking now in the examples. Everything that we're gonna be looking at is the 2-year version of the contract. So if you want to sign a 3-year version, it's 7.75 million more, and if you want to sign the 4 million, the 4-year, it's going to be 1.5 million added to the numbers that we are going to be looking at. Also, again, the same is the most recent season is the base for the evaluation, and the last point is uh, a bit of a joke that, but it's still the same that goalies are difficult, and for now the same logic will be applied to goalies, and we still keep the same metrics as goalie points per games played and also the save percentage, but it is more this model is more tested for the skaters because of the larger sample size, and for the goalies we will still need to I don't know, we still need to find a decent level, maybe not too much different from the current one. So what's different, uh, they will in the 3.0 version, so called, there will no longer be tiered salaries for the RFAs. So each restricted free agent will get, based on his performance, will get an individual salary. And the salary metrics will no longer be used that we used until now with the different tiers, like the above average tier and very good tier. These are going to be scrapped, and the scoring component and the grid component will be scaled and valued separately, and then summed up to give the total salary for the restricted free agent. The new model has wider parameters, so basically the max and the minimum salaries are the maximum is a bit higher and the minimum is also a bit lower. So the bigger scope, so to say, between the least valuable and the most valuable restricted free agents. And the last thing is, actually, this is not much different. It's basically in the middle because the logic is still the same, that we update annually the stats and the relevancy of the tiers or thresholds or whatever you call them, milestones. But this time I have tried to basically take some more feedback from also what we have discussed with various members of our league about the whole restricted free agent model. So that's also taken into account. Now with this wrapped, like the theoretical part, we'll look at some graphs with the practice. So what do we see here? This is the curve of all forwards, the points per game curve for all forwards from the last 4 seasons. So basically, these are on the bottom right, there are the most irrelevant players, and then the curve hits like the around league average, and then the superstar tier is so right on the top left. And the numbers here in the gray boxes are roughly the points per season. So this is players in a full 82 games season. These are the players that score around 35 points. These are players around 50 points, 75 and 100 points and above. So basically the logic is that we will take these milestones, so to say, like milestone 1, milestone 2, milestone 3, milestone 4, and according to where the player lands, the specific player lands on the curve, this will determine his salary contribution, or his salary for the qualifying offers. And the logic is that at the points where the curve like has a bends a bit, so we try in each of these boxes to have close to a line or a straight line, and we scale the salaries between the different milestones linearly, so between 6 and 7.5 and between 3 and 6, depending on where the player lands on this curve. I don't know if it's clear, but if this, I'm basically just using this video and this presentation to give you some better, hopefully, idea of what's the idea, and then we can discuss it. The same for forwards, again, 4-year data, but for the grids and the grid categories, which are blocks, hits, and penalty in minutes. Also, based on what we have had so far, first, the tiers or milestones for the grid category are one less because there is no superstar category for the grids. And you see also that the relevant players based on our usage and historically how we've used grid focused players, especially forwards, is a big chunk of these players have not been relevant for our team. So that's why this irrelevant box, the red one, or I don't know if you see it as red, but it's the reddish, goes right up above the league average performance of 2.18 grids per game, and then starts to value up from here, and the maximum grid contributors can earn or can be valued at 2.0 million in terms of salary contribution. But these are really like the top contributors. I think most relevant players will fall here in this part, which is I've tried to make it similar to our current model in terms of how much it is contributed, but also to balance it. And I think my personal opinion is that in this particular iteration of the model, the grid is trending towards being undervalued, but we'll see what are the others' opinion after you check it out. And the same logic is applied to the defenseman. Again, like For the forwards, these are 4 years worth of individual performances put in a line, and these are the milestones for the defenseman in terms of scoring. Again, like 25-ish points per full season of 82 games, 35, 55, and above 80. So basically, point per game defenseman are ones that hit the superstar tier, or the M4, like it's called here, the fourth milestone, which gives them the maximum salary per the model parameters, and all the rest fall somewhere along the line. And the bottom right box, the irrelevant so-called players or a group, it's still going to get some salary based, even if they fall here below this 1.25 million milestone point or threshold. They still get some salary worth from their scoring. And again, the same for the defenseman in terms of logic. But as you can see, based on our usage, the irrelevant part of the grid for defenseman is a lot smaller compared to the forwards, because we tend to use a lot more of these shot blocking defensemen, so name them, and they because they are the main guys who can contribute to the block shots category. So the group of the relevant or average, let's call them, players here in the orange box is a bit bigger compared to the forwards, but still the milestones and the salaries are the same in terms of level. I mean, the 2 million, 1.5 million, and so on. So that's the logic, and we'll now just take a quick look at this 3.0 model applied to the current RFA crop, and how does it compare. So you see the players from the 2025 RFA crop, and this column shows what their salary results for a 2-year qualifying offer. What were they in the old model, and what would they be in the new suggested model? And as you can see, this is a result of these two parts, which what I told you, that in the new suggested model we split the contribution for scoring and for grid, and they are then summed up separately. So they are summed up not separately. And then you see here for the players, most of the better players from the RFA crop would actually get a further salary increase with the new model. But on the other side, some players that are fringe players would actually get cheaper contracts, because they are, like, for example, here, like guys like Timothy Ljugren, his new name Ljugren, that he would be qualified or with at 1.08 instead of 1.5, which was the absolutely minimum under the current model. I think it still helps us to potentially retain some of those, like I said, fringe players, while also I think it's more fair that the better players are valued higher. And you can see here, for example, Podkozin is a guy who is basically, his salary is a result of 50-50 contribution between his scoring, which is not great, and his grid stats, which are pretty good. So he will be valued at slightly lower than the current model, because of, like I said, that for me, maybe we should think about tinkering a bit more with the grid. But the overall feedback I've gotten over the years is that uh, people don't value grid and don't draft for grid, don't want to give big contracts for grid players, so it's, I think, also fair. And also I've put here some example players just to give you an idea about the maximum potential. So this Conor McHenry guy is a forward who is at 2 points per game played and 7 grid per game played, which is higher than anything we've seen. So this potential stood. And also on the defensive side, we have Gudas Makar, which is some cyborg, and these are the maximum values under the new model compared to the current. I don't think we will ever see any players who would reach these maximums actually. So the effective maximum, I think, would be closer to maybe around 8 point something, 8.5, maybe around close to 9, but I don't imagine we can ever have a player that actually has the best in scoring and grid categories. And some middle of the road players who actually, if they hit the exactly average thresholds also that have been used in the current model and the new model, they will result in exactly the same salaries as the current model. So if we have the perfectly average forward and defenseman, they will have the same base salary as the current model. And if we have the most disastrous and not performing forward, like this can't hit no score guy and the defenseman Torts don't like, and these will get the basically league minimum salaries to be qualified at, not so you can still retain them for 2 years at a very low salary if you feel that they have some worth to your team. And also because of the logic of the 0.75 years for each additional year in the qualifying offer, they will still have, if we qualify them at 3 years, they will get above the buyout threshold, which is again the same logic that is in the current model. So that's it. I think that I hope you get the general idea, and I've just take a look at the video. I think it's got a bit longer than than I thought, and we can comment it as part of the 2025 GM meeting. So thank you all and see you. Bye.